In a big ramp-up that will see over 400,000 more get vaccinated, students will receive their first doses from tomorrow. Those eligible must be at least 12 years old as at June 1st. But the exercise will start with about 56,000 students sitting for the O, N and A-level exams, as well as other equivalent qualifications later this year. Now, those 18 years old and above can opt for either Pfizer or Moderna's vaccine, while those between 12 and 17 years old will only be offered the Pfizer jab, because Moderna's hasn't been approved for use with this age group. I'm now joined by three parents whose school-going children are now eligible to get their COVID-19 shots. We have Sumit Narang, who has a 16-year-old daughter. Adeline Pang's daughter will be 17 years old in August, and Mubarak Ali's girl is 12 and will be taking her PSLE later this year. Welcome, everyone. What were your first thoughts when you found out that your daughters were now eligible to get vaccinated against COVID-19? Mubarak, why don't you go first?
Okay, I was not surprised at all, as the government has been meticulous in planning the vaccination program. And given the recent spike in cases in children, I expected them to bring the children into the scene already. So the reports of vaccines being approved for the age group also suggested the same. The priority given to the graduating students makes sense as well, because they may be required to attend classes ahead of the other levels if the schools remain closed after the holidays.
Adeline, what about yourself? You know, how do you feel? What were your first thoughts when you received the announcement, or when you heard the announcement?
Actually, I was very relieved because with this new variant coming on, everyone is just panicking a little bit. And even though my daughter is very careful when she does go out, because she's very well researched on COVID-19, and she knows what she needs to do to be careful, and she really restricts herself when she goes out and why. At the same time, you can't help but worry. So it's a huge sense of relief when I found out that at least she can get vaccinated, because my husband and I are not yet in the age group to get vaccinated, and our toddler is also not yet in the age group to get vaccinated. So there's that sense that at least one of us will have some form of protection.
Sumit, your thoughts?
When I heard first that our government is expanding COVID-19 vaccination to the children, honestly speaking, I immediately thought of my daughter. Considering the current COVID-19 outbreak among children, I also felt that they should be allowed to get the vaccination, as they are more interested to roam around with their friends than us. Since myself and my wife, we both have got the first jab, so we were a bit concerned on their safeties to our children. And now, since my daughter is getting vaccinated, I feel a bit peace of mind, you can say that, because now she can go back to attend her own activities like school, friends, enrichment classes, and yeah. So far, as I mentioned, when the news was out, I had a very brief discussion with my daughter, and she herself, because she has been reading about COVID-19 and she has been hearing about it, so she was willingly telling me that, Papa, why don't we register ourselves? So it was pretty much, you can say that, hands-on decision.
Sumit, out of you guys, Sumit, I understand that your daughter is the only one who's registered for the appointment, and her first dose is on Friday. And earlier on, you know, you mentioned that you were relieved and you were looking forward to it as well. Was there any part that you were hesitant, you know, to register her, or did your family just jump in as soon as you could?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, that we were a bit concerned on the safety of our children. So as mentioned, that we live in the society, so everybody has to play their own part. So once we got this information, and we wanted to grab the opportunity. So, I mean, this decision was welcomed by, our family itself. And as I mentioned, my daughter was first to tell me that she is willing to take the vaccination. So, I mean, we were pretty much, you can say that, relieved of the fact that now as a family, so we want to just go for the protection first.
Right. Adeline, Mubarak, you're still waiting for those emails with the registration details. Now, when these emails come, do you plan to sign them up immediately? Adeline, I understand your daughter's polytechnic will send the email next week.
Well, the end of this week, latest. So we're supposed to take action if we don't hear from them by the end of the week. So I hope it's soon.
Right. And Mubarak, what about yourself? First instance, once you receive the email, you're going to sign up for it as well for your daughter?
Yeah, but I think we should take the opportunity and go for it, because everybody is waiting in queue for their opportunity, right? Like waiting for the email or SMS that may come through. My situation a little bit unique because my daughter is in the graduating class, but not in the front queue, because they are still administrating to OA and N-level students and the higher institutions, not the primary 6 leaving examination yet. And also those who are turning 12 before 1st June will get the letter first, or the SMS first, before those who are born after 1st June, which my daughter actually qualifies for that because she was born in February. So there comes to a situation where perhaps half of the PSLE cohort will have an opportunity to get vaccinated, and the other half not yet. So there will be lots of people who might want to and not get the chance. So I will just, take the chance and sign her up and go for the vaccination as soon as possible, so others can get a chance to as well.
Right. Now, guys, Singapore is one of the first countries in the world to administer the vaccines to kids 12 years old and up. Now, it seems, of course, based on our earlier conversations, you are on the side of getting your daughters vaccinated. Are you at all concerned about vaccine safety and side effects? Adeline, your thoughts?
Well, I've always been on the side of vaccinations. Of course, if you had asked me this question about a few months earlier when the vaccinations first came on the market, I had a lot of reservations, and I would have said absolutely not. For myself, if you can help it, for myself as an adult, and for my kids, for children especially. But now there has been so much more research done, and people have been vaccinated. And also, I guess in a way, I'm fortunate that my daughter is, she has passed puberty. She's passed a lot of puberty. She's developed. It's not going to stunt her growth or anything. It's not going to stunt her mental development. So the side effects that, so to speak, that I would be concerned about, I think would be quite minor. Major side effects would probably be in the minority group. And so that's the lesser evil, so to speak. That is not what I'm concerned about as much as the possibility of getting really, really sick from COVID-19.
Right. Sumit, what about yourself? Any concerns at all about safety, about the side effects of the vaccines?
I understand that a lot of parents are a bit worried about the side effects of this vaccination. But for me, as I mentioned earlier, that our first priority is to get protection from this pandemic. So side effects are unknown enemies. You can say that whatever will happen in the future. But as of now, we have our enemy, battle against COVID-19. So for me, to get the priority on the vaccination is something that we all should look forward. And if you have mentioned that about the government rolling out this for the children, I fully trust and support my government. Definitely, they must have given it a serious thought before they have rolled out this to the children. And earlier, I'd mentioned that since we all live in the society, so everybody has to play their own part. So it's on us to just go in the front and get the vaccination done.
Mubarak, what about you? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the government recognizes that a lot of us are quite apprehensive about the side effects, and they have even spent a lot of money to educate us through the current advertisements that we see on television and radio, so that people will be aware of, like Sumit said, the current enemy versus the unseen enemy, right? So my opinion is that the approval for adults was given recently as well. So recent is a subjective word here. So we are beginning to accept that benefits outweigh any disadvantages. And besides, our children have always been given vaccinations since they were born in their growing up years, which have adopted without much disapproval. So I think this is the way to go to fight the enemy straight away before we think about the side effects, which are really, like Sumit said again, the government would have given it serious thought before rolling it out to all its citizens.